Alright, so while the Pikler Triangle continues to dry over behind me, I'm going to make a ramp to accompany the triangle that can be used to crawl up to different heights of the triangle as my son's getting used to actually climbing the rungs themselves.
So I already had the perfect piece of scrap plywood for this project. It was 3/4 inch plywood, 4 feet long, and just a hair over the 22.5 inches wide that I needed. So I trimmed it down to size at the table saw, and then I gave it a good sanding, knocking off all the sharp edges.
We're gonna finally use some of this scrap wood I've been hoarding. So I'm looking for a piece that will get me about 8 24-inch by 1/4 inch pieces. I think I'm gonna use this piece. This is really long, but I think I can get what I need out of that.
Now these pieces I'm cutting here are essentially cleats that are going to be mounted to the ramp so that if you start sliding, it'll give you some traction and something to stop you from continuing to slide down the ramp. I cut them to length at the miter saw, which was 22.5 inches, and I took them over to the table saw to rip them down to 1/4 inch wide strips. I'm really not a big fan of cutting super thin strips on a table saw. There's a good chance of kickback, which you can kind of see the pieces raising up in this video clip at times. A better option would have been a bandsaw. It just requires more cleanup, so I took the risk here. I then sanded them all down, just knocking off the sharp edges, because just keep in mind it is going to be a child that's going to be crawling on this, and those sharp edges are really easy for them to cut their delicate skin.
Alright, so I got all my small strips cut for the cleats going up the ramp. So we're ready to go ahead and anchor these. What I'm going to start with though, I have a spare piece of the same size dowel of the rungs that I installed in the triangle. And what I'm going to do is take 2 of these and put them at the very top of the ramp to straddle the rung. And that way, whenever we go to put it on the rungs, you actually have something that's holding on to the step.
I installed all these cleats at a 10-inch spacing, and as you already saw, I just had a little bit of wood glue on it that's doing most of the binding, but 4 small screws that were holding it in place as that glue dried. You want to make sure that the screws are recessed below the surface of the wood to make sure that they don't catch the hands or feet of your little one as they're climbing over it. The best part about this thing? He's now got his very own slide in his bedroom. Now, because I used all scrap wood to make this ramp, this cost me no money at all. Whenever I combine it with the Pikler Triangle, that only cost me 75 bucks, so we had this ramp and Pikler Triangle for $75. If you want to see how to make this Pikler Triangle, click this video here. There's a lot of lessons learned during that. Otherwise, until next time, take a chance and make something.